Okay, hola all, welcome back finally to Soul Mechanics. Just a quick update, we currently have people working on making a replacement for this kind of makeshift poster I've got behind me. Something cool, we're designing something cool for that. It's probably likely going to be something very similar, but bigger and better looking, more professional. So, gonna upgrade my office. Don't know why you would care to know that, but you'll see it happen. In any case, this video is going to be a response clip to the interview that I did with Shannon Q and for Heathen Hour, which I think we were all the heathens there. I'm pretty sure was the idea, but I did in fact go ahead and do a series. Yeah, I pulled an all-nighter the night afterwards because I was kind of upset about the interview. I loved it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with that. It was pretty bitchin'. Thank you guys for doing that. Paulogia, Shannon Q. Thank you, Godless Cranium, especially, who I think I know his name now. I don't worry, I'm not going to reveal it here. I think maybe he's trying to be anonymous. I mean, he's even his cartoon character has a mask. So don't worry, I won't reveal your secret identity, Godless Cranium. But thank you all for the opportunity, and the opportunity continues. I was upset because the interview went south for a minute there, and it was on part of the hosts, and it was kind of a big deal. Like it was a pretty important matter at hand, and it blew up on me and wasted a lot of time. So I went ahead and pulled an all nighter and did a string of response clips to it, explaining everything and trying to get my point across and make sense of everything. But one of the members of the initiative complained that it was too long and I had extrapolated too much information from it. So what I'm gonna do here is go ahead and make what I presume will likely be a few different videos, short response clips speaking to specific topics of inquiry during the interview. Because as I was saying, that this opportunity continues to unfold. I was given the opportunity to do this interview, and now with all of the botched areas of it where things got screwed up, and especially with some of the arguments that were raised and some of the leads that were offered, I'm allotted a whole slew of other opportunities to work with to respond to this and to get my point across in exchange. So thank you guys for that. It's still happening. The arguments you raised, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to speak to each one of them specifically, and I'm going to take that opportunity to show you what's actually going on here, because I can tell you guys are still confused about it. You still got the title wrong. I thank you for posting that, by the way, to Heathen Hour, to the official channel. It's awesome. It looks cool. It's got me on the front of it on the thumbnail. That's pretty bitchin'. But you guys got the title wrong still. You got it backwards. I mean, but obviously that's okay, because you are in fact proving my point. In time mechanics, that time is moving in reverse, that we're witnessing things backwards, that you guys are still witnessing things backwards, even though I explained it to you first and foremost. It is not theism is not a religion. Religion is anti-theism. I'm gonna go ahead and keep explaining this, and we'll get to that anyways. I'm gonna have to go ahead, as this is my first response clip to myself. I'm going to go ahead and flip into objective gear for just a minute here and speak to the hosts and the guest of the episode at hand. Obviously, Shannon Q is a beautiful young lady. She's got a lot going for her. She's got a lot of followers or what have you, subscribers, and which I should like to say, I did gain a few subscribers from the interview, and I gained a lot of people following on Twitter. But for you guys that are on Twitter, if you're watching this video, we really need for you to support the channel. So please subscribe and like the videos. Please watch them. They're all informative. They're all full of good shit. I don't make, if I make a useless video that's just kind of wasting time, then I will in fact tell you that. I'll make a whole playlist for tangents. I did that with my last channel. But any videos that I post, they're in the specific playlist for a specific reason. They're part of a specific course, and they cover specific issues. So please look into that. If you understand it, Like, it's going to be, I'm going to have to mention that I didn't think of the factor that there are certain values in play with my channel and what the concepts that we're working with that may not be conducive to certain types of intellects, certain value systems. If you haven't experienced certain things, especially if you haven't been introduced to certain parts of yourself that require certain maybe psychotropic experiences and such, you might not understand a lot of it, because it's going to be difficult for people to understand that they are in fact communicating with their self. But that's what we're trying to get across in the channel. But anyways, we need you guys to support the channel, please. And if you have anything to share, good or bad, anything that you want to add, anything that you want to contribute to our effort, go to the Remnants of Tomorrow program on Facebook. Go to the Remnants of Tomorrow group page and share whatever you like. We will respond to it. We'll start discussions. We'll get things going. We actually have a lot going there. It's pretty cool. Anyways, flipping into objective gear. Obviously, Shannon Q, lovely young lady. She has a lot going for her. Her channel is doing well. She's done a lot in this circuit. Although it seems like she hasn't really. None of them have really been around as long as I had expected for them to. We have been working this field for a long time. So I mean, it does seem as though you guys, because you have a bigger a bigger following on Facebook, or not Facebook, but YouTube and whatnot, because your channels are big and you've kicked off. It seems that you kind of, I don't want to speak ill of you guys, but it seemed as though you kind of looked down at me as though I were a pygmy in comparison, where in fact we've been doing this for a long time, and it seems as though you guys just kind of started. So I mean, just relatively speaking, in objective gear, you guys are kind of the kids here. So let's just get that across. Anyways, Shannon Q does have degrees, I guess. I take it degrees in psychopharmacology or neuropharmacology and psychology, which for any spotters watching, that should come across as a pretty big tell. Paulogia, I still do not know a lot about. I apologize, Paulogia. My space is all tied up, and it does not afford for me to go into everybody, but I will get to you. I will get to looking into your works. Insofar as soul mechanics is concerned, this Donovan character, I don't know. He seems sincere, I guess, but he's got like slick hair and he's wearing a suit, for crying out loud. The dude comes across as like a salesman or something. He's very skinny, which he does on his channel. He speaks to having higher than average metabolism due to certain practices that he's been engaged in, and it seems as though if you watch what he's doing, it really seems as though he's working hard, busting his ass kind of every waking moment of his life, burning up energy. So I mean, that might have something to do with him being skinny, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess he's probably like a crackhead, or a heroin addict. It's likely that's the case. I'm just saying that's what he looks like to me, and from what I gather in the comments of the video of the interview, he's also ugly and harsh on the eyes. But I mean, like I said, he's wearing a suit, he's got the slick hair and everything. If this were a fictional story, he would very much come across as a shady character, likely the villain of the story. So were I an average internet troller, that's how I would assume. That's what I would assume about this guy. He's probably a bad guy. Although I mean, even in the fact that this dude Donovan claims to believe in a present God figure, yet he is fighting pretty hard to kind of promote the atheist community. So I mean, I don't know what's up with him, but he's likely not to be trusted. Anyway, flipping back into prerogative gear here. I really did not want to have to go on the offensive with this, but you guys kind of forced my hand when you snubbed me on the issue during the interview, particularly where Shannon very, very slowly kind of chewed up a huge chunk of our time explaining to me how SSRIs act upon the brain, and continuously stopping me and saying, please let me finish. I need for you to understand this, every time that I tried to inform her that I do understand this. Shannon, what you explained to me there, and yes, I was listening. I hearing every word you guys are saying and paying attention to everything that's happening. Uh, what you told me pretty much there, what you explained to me was the textbook basics of it that anyone can pick up, from a pamphlet in their doctor's waiting room. And you told me that you really need for me to understand it, and I in fact do understand it very well. I understand these SSRIs great to a great degree, but I unfortunately I don't have a degree in neuropharmacology, so I can't state that I'm some kind of an expert on the matter. But yeah, I understand them. I understand them very personally. um, what I need for you to understand is that these things are not actually known. You know what you explained to me and just about everything about it. There's nothing about these drugs that they tell you that is actually known. I understand that in your training, it will have come across as though it will have been impressed upon you as though it were matter of fact, but it's not. None of this is actually known matter of fact. If anyone who has put forth the effort, pushed through the trial of actually training themselves in this field, will be quite well aware that many of this is or none of this actually is matter of fact. None of this is known. Much of what we think we know about the human brain operates, and most especially how these experimental antidepressants, these are experimental drugs. That there's no question about that. Most of what we think we know about how these drugs work affect our neurology is hugely an exposition of what, for the most part, is makeshift guesswork. And I mean, when you have to conduct your studies from the outside of the system, Shannon, in which these studies are based, it becomes quite clear to you that the system often lies to its students to support its own standard. And it's very much the same sort of thing as a self-proclaimed logic we find with the Bible and religion, where basically it must be true because it says it is. That's basically what's going on there. Your doctor says it's true, so it is. But if you speak to a doctor that is honest, you're going to find that we don't know jack shit about these drugs, and that the only reason they're pushed on us is because of pharmaceutical corporations are pushing them on the doctors. And but here you are promoting them, and again, you having those degrees is kind of a tell in that regard. Anyways, these are basically what we know about these drugs are constructed of proclamations that are only grounded in their own supposition. I'm not saying that I don't agree with a lot of it and that I don't think it's true, but I do have. Firstly, I do have personal experience with this, and I have a lot of testimonial evidence from people that I know personally, that I know are telling me the truth about these drugs. And I myself, I was prescribed one of these drugs. I believe it was Paxil for a short duration because they believed I was depressed. And I guess I kind of was at the time. I was suppressed. I was not me. I was not the me that you've met and you know now at all by any stretch. I wasn't even close to being the real me. I was shut down, and they gave me these antidepressants, and I took them, and within a week of taking these, my roommate was finding me stumbling around in the parking lot sleepwalking at night, having no fucking idea what I was doing. So I mean, that's just that's a example right there. And I just want to say, though I do agree with what we know of how a lot of it works, I think that it's likely true, but it is a logy. One, believing that these things are known for certain, Shannon, and acting upon that belief as though it is the case is a very dangerous methodology. And B, the manner in which you reacted to my proposition during the interview was extremely hazardous indeed. And really, I wasn't. I don't disagree with what you're promoting. The concepts of using these drugs as such entirely. I personally do in fact use a few of them. Three of them. I use three. I don't want to say what they are because I'm embarrassed by my stupidity, but I have problems. I have had problems with anxiety, and I've had problems with memory due to certain factors from my past. And so I do use a few of these drugs, but I use them PRN. And I do, in fact, have a certain degree of medical training that allots for me to make that assertion, or ascertain that discernment as to how and when to use these drugs and for what purpose, which is rare. But uh, I guess going on from here, I do want you to know that I very highly appreciate uh, the opportunity that you've given me here, and I have very much hold you, Shannon, in the very highest regard, and I mean absolutely no disrespect by anything that I'm doing here. Please believe me in that. In fact, madam, I kind of like you. Really, you are on my list, and I do have a list. I have a list. It grows every day. It's a list of people that I believe are potentially very powerful and that I have intentions of working with in the future. Of course, in order to persuade you specifically to take up arms in this battle against this division complex and cognitive dissonance, essentially, I will need for you to be paying some attention to me. So on one grounds, I can go ahead and request right here that you give my channel Soul Mechanics at least a small amount of respect and courtesy, and actually check in from time to time, and check out some of the videos that I do, particularly the courses on secular theology and on principle dynamics. That's where the points that I need to get to you are going to be getting across most effectively. And on a secondary grounds, should you choose to ignore the channel, I shall have to just go ahead and put up a fight to arrest your attention in other ways. And this goes for everyone on my list. Paulogia, you are not on my list yet, but this is only because I have yet to invest any time into observing your works. And of course, it's because you kind of scoffed at me during the interview. You even laughed at me as you blatantly lied to our audience. And I understand that you corrected yourself afterwards, guys. Paulogia corrected himself afterwards via Twitter, but I mean the damage is done in the video. There are a lot of people that are going to watch that video and they're not going to move any further. They're not even going to look into it. They're going to take your word at face value because you took the DEA and FDA's word at face value, which you that proposition, as I was saying, I had no intention to promote kratom, really, or to have you promote kratom. I just wanted to promote the fact that we are working on helping people with addiction, and that this is one of the methods by which we can do that. I wanted to promote Project Philanthropy. And this is a very important aspect of the initiative, because Project Philanthropy is the grounds upon which we're attempting to build our reputation so that we can get people to help us with funding other programs, other campaigns, such as feeding, taking care of the homeless in the area, taking care of the Veterans with the Boots campaign, feeding the famine victims in Uganda and West Africa. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. It's taking care of a lot of people are counting on us to do this, and you guys just fucking snubbed it flat out and wasted a lot of time doing it. So, I mean, and damaging that campaign, Paulogia especially, that places people's lives in danger, man. And I know that you went ahead and corrected yourself. I very much appreciate that you corrected yourself on Twitter. But as I said, it's there in the video, and a lot of people are going to stand on that alone. A lot of people are just too careless to investigate any further. I'm not going to call them stupid, but careless is a word I can use. So to clean up Paulogia's mess here, kratom is absolutely not illegal or banned here in the States. Nobody is having any charges pressed upon them for selling it. The only problem with it is anybody proclaiming that it is actually, an FDA approved medicine for the treatment of any specific ailment, which that's not what we are. That's not at all what we are presenting it as. We're presenting it as a potential supplemental additive that can be used to assist in regards to aiding with the withdrawal symptoms, getting off of a narcotic addiction, and as a potential supplemental what's the word a supplement, something that can be used instead, in lieu of narcotics. It's a safe alternative to narcotic use, which that's what we're we're promoting it as, and we're allowed to do that. There's nothing illegal about saying that you can use this instead of narcotics if you want to for certain reasons to deal with certain problems. It is not used to diagnose or to treat any specific ailments. It's a safe alternative. Might be a potentially safe a safe potential alternative to other narcotic substances, which are in fact dangerous. Like as I was saying, the reason why kratom is not banned here in America is this very similar to the basis upon which atheism itself rests. That is to say, there is a total lacking of any evidence to the effect of it being dangerous in any way. While the drugs that Shannon was endorsing has piles of evidence to the effect of them being both largely experimental in nature and in many cases extremely dangerous. Now, I should like to state before I continue, this is a very serious issue, guys. This is not, there's nothing to be scoffed at here. You made a big mistake the way that you reacted to that. This is an extremely serious issue. And though the initiative is just starting out, we've only got our feet, we just got our feet on the ground in the past year. We're going to make a big difference here, and we're going to do a lot of good for people. And the only reason that you would want to try and stop us from doing that is if you were seriously against helping people and wanted to hurt people. So I don't see why you would have done that, except for the fact that you were largely ignorant to what was going on here. I mean, you really didn't have a clue what you didn't even know what the channel's name was. Yet you had some pretty serious opinions about our comings and goings. Anyway, this is in fact a very serious issue. So any trollers, I saw a lot of trollers on the original posting of the interview. I saw a lot of trollers in the comments there. Any trollers that are seeking to get their fix here, please seek elsewhere. This is not an issue for you to be fucking around with. We don't have time to waste here. Here in America, we have an epidemic of narcotic addiction and overdose, and the pharmaceutical corporations are pushing this agenda. They want for you to be on these drugs, and it's a very dangerous situation we're in here. I'm not certain that the situation is similar in Canada. In fact, I would have to guess that it's likely not, as I would presume Canada has its shit together in this regard for the most part. And obviously, it is not an issue that you particularly are acutely aware of, considering that your first instinct was to take the propaganda of the DEA and FDA's official sites at face value without even considering the factor that these agencies are essentially drug dealers, Shannon and Paulogia, and that these natural remedies that we're proposing might be helpful are their competition. I mean, they have in fact already, they've posted articles speaking to one of the reasons they want to ban this substance is because they want to take the alkaloids that are active in it and utilize them to create synthetic narcotics that they can go ahead and sell. I mean, come on, man. You guys, fuck me, man. You guys were asleep at the wheel on that one, weren't you? Obviously, opiates are addictive and dangerous is common knowledge. Suggesting that a safe, natural alternative to opiates is wrong and should be banned, Shannon, vehemently, I might add, vehemently, and with even anger in the inflection upon which you expressed yourself there, without having so much as to more than a single clue as to what the fuck you were even talking about, and that single clue provided by the competition to what we're speaking of. I mean, it was disrespectful, Shannon. It was extremely hazardous, and most especially, it was exceptionally irresponsible of you. Unless, of course, you are in fact attempting to back the agenda of keeping people on narcotics, in which case that was a very solid move on your part. Good job. Well done. Well played, madam. But declaring that it was impossible for kratom to be both a stimulant and a depressant, like you declared it like wholeheartedly, whereas it it is basic common knowledge that any opioid, and I'm pretty sure that we're stating that kratom is in fact an opioid. I didn't believe that it was. I still really don't think that it is, but there's some people who are saying that it's an opioid, and honestly, that doesn't really matter at all. It's a safer, it's a safe, natural alternative to the opioids that are currently on the market. But I believe it is an opioid, but any opioid, Shannon, behaves precisely that way. In small amounts, it acts as a stimulant. In larger dosages, it's going to act as a depressant. This is basic common knowledge in pharmacology. Yet, yet you declared that this was impossible, whilst declaring that you have a degree in neuropharmacology, which is actually not really a widely used term, but neurology and pharmacology, which you do like to say a lot, by the way. I've noticed. You love to tell people in your videos about the degrees you have, especially your degree in psychology, which, of course, for anybody following along here, might note that that is a logi. This is pharmacology, psychology. These are logis. That means it's not known. This is what we think about it based on what we've seen. And you love to tell people about these degrees you have, especially in psychology. In response to which, I should like to ask you, Shannon, how many people's lives have you personally directly saved with these degrees? Because I'm going to go ahead and guess I likely got you beat on that by a long shot. I'm not trying to naysay you in any way. I'm certain that you can do. I've seen you do a hell of a lot of good. You seem like a great person. I'm really looking forward to working with you at some point if I can get you to pay attention here. But you know, I've had to contort my psyche through four-dimensional hoops to pull people back from the edge of self-harm, excessive self-damage, and even suicide, and largely in most cases because of the damages done by religion. And so I would actually like to retract my previous statement and say that yes, I do intend to bring Christianity down from the ground up. I don't have anything against Christians, and I support you choosing to have whatever religion you do, but that particular religion and its offshoots, I'm going to work at showing you guys what is exactly is wrong with that, what is objectively incorrect about these things, what they are actually doing to your lives, to everyone's lives, what they've done and continue to do, damages that they are doing to everyone, and pull the rug up from the whole damn thing, man. Humanity itself suffers from a psychological disorder. Shannon, if you don't see that, then that degree hasn't gotten you very far yet. But humanity in its entirety suffers from a collective psychological disorder that we need to work together on finding and providing a cure for. And I'm going to do this. If I have to be the only one in play that's fighting as hard as I do for it, then so be it. But the world is backing me, and I will be successful, at least to some degree. So, you know, I'm going to work as hard as I can on pretty much saving the world. I mean, in layman's terms, you could say that's what I'm doing. And I should like to note for everyone, because of what Shannon said to me in the interview, my efforts here are not noble in nature. I do what I do for one simple reason, and it is because I'm hoping that somebody will see it and be impressed by it. A very certain specific someone, whoever she may be. I don't know who she is yet, but I'm looking for her, and I'm hoping that she will see what I'm doing and be impressed enough by it to give me a shot. So, at any rate, I will provide links in the description here to testimony regarding people who are in prison right now, people who are in prison for life for having committed murder while sleepwalking because of these drugs that Shannon was promoting. That, you know, people who have committed murder, sleepwalking, directly because of the drugs that you so confidently endorsed, amongst other testimonies, especially testimonies to the benefits of mitragyna speciosa, along with my own account herein. You know, I should like to add that I myself suffered for a long time from alcoholism. I had everyone around me. I was even homeless for a long while, and people around me, everyone was supporting alcoholism. It was just get drunk all day. That's the only fucking prerogative that existed. And I had people promoting that, and I almost died on several occasions. I was that close that the world had to step in and intervene to pull me back and save my ass on several occasions until finally I found kratom and it saved my life. And having become aware of what it's capable of doing, I used kratom to help save my mother from what was over 30 years of heroin addiction. And I saved her ass on that one. And then after that, and she's 10 years sober now. She's still kicking. She's in great condition because this leveled her out and gave her a shot. Gave her a chance after she had become addicted to heroin because of prescription drugs that were given to her by the pharmacological corporation. So I went ahead after that and continued to use kratom in an effort, use kratom as an aid, as an assistant in helping many people recover from addiction and saving many people's lives. And now with Project Philanthropy, we're trying to do that on a larger scale. We're trying to save a lot of people at one time. We're trying to save time here, crunch it together. And you guys did a lot of damage to that. So just having absolutely no knowledge of it whatsoever, you jumped ahead and did that. So I'm going to have to say, that not very scientific of you, was it? It's not going to be the last time that I'll say that either. I have to inform you now. At any rate, Paulogia, Shannon Q, thank you again so much for the opportunity you've given me here, the chance that you granted me. It was awesome. I love it. I'm very hyped about it being up on your guys' channel. I'm going to go ahead and post links to promote that channel and the video, of course, in here as well. Promote you guys too. Even though I haven't checked you out yet, Paulogia, the interview was excellent, except for that one little, shunt there. But it was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it, and I thank you guys so much for it. Though I must suggest that in the future, you guys be a little more careful. Move faster for the most part. Try to have an understanding of what it is you intend to express before you go ahead and pronounce it. Mockingly, I might add. Although you did admit that you were mistaken afterwards, as I said, you did make an ass of a lot of us in live stream, Paul. So, and you very likely put people's lives in danger here. So, as I said, I'm just going to have to ask that you go ahead and be more careful. I'm not certain how you guys think of it or how you consider it, but though I may treat life as though it is a game, when you're playing this game in my arena, it is not a fucking joke. Namaste.